this has helped. This is helping a lot, actually. And there's what it started with was working out how we were going to deal with comments that were just, you know, the internet being the internet. And it's really very simple. It's just wild to me that it can be like this genuinely simple, and that can be healthy and okay. Like, spend a lot of today being like, really? Is that really, like, you know, does it really get to be this? Do I get to make it this simple? Like, yes, I do. We do. And the basic premise is that we don't owe anyone shit. Like, we've just been taught that we did our whole lives. But actually, that's not true. We don't just owe somebody understanding and space and attentiveness just because they're talking. And if they choose not to act towards us and other people with compassion and understanding and a degree of human basic fucking respect, then they can absolutely fuck off. And we don't have to feel like we're not giving them space or not giving them a chance or feel bad about any of that, because they voided the right to be listened to when they approached us or anyone else in a manner that's not thoughtful and respectful of us and others. Like, that's it. I don't have to think about what they said. I don't have to read what they said. I don't have to internalize what they said on any level. Like, it's just, we have permission to accept that what they've said is completely irrelevant to our lives and just get rid of it. And it is that simple. Like, I don't even read comments if they're, like, in any way not compassionate or respectful. People can disagree with us. I am happy to have people. I would hope that if we had a trash take, someone would be like, kind of a trash take, and we'd go, is it? Shit, let me listen to this opinion, as long as it's phrased in a way that's like, no one's going to hear you if you're disregarding their experience and being an asshole, and no one should have to. Like, if you want to get listened to, there's a way to go about speaking. Just giving ourselves the same basic rights that we've always subscribed to in how we interact with other people. Like, it didn't feel like we lived by the same rules, because growing up we didn't. We were raised in a completely one-sided fucking double standard bullshit abusive way, where like we had to be totally understanding and forgiving and compassionate of everybody else, including abusers, but we just had to be understanding of how they treated us, and they didn't have to be understanding or kind back. They could behave however they wanted to us, and we keep being understanding. And like, no, so many of us subjected to this, and I'm so fucking proud that we did. And now I can see that those parts of us were entirely right. That's fucking trash. That's bullshit. And we are just allowed to live by the same rules, that like, if we want somebody to hear us, we know that we have to be as compassionate and mindful and understanding as we can be, and phrase things in a way that's going to be possible for this person to be reached, bearing in mind all the individual factors that might be personally affecting them. And allowing room for human error on every side isn't the same thing as giving somebody space when they're not trying to be understanding and compassionate. And I just absolutely do not need to. Like, it's very fucking freeing to be able to see that and feel that. And like, there's a lot of internal work. So, because it's one thing to like cognitively, rationally know that, but it's another to like literally breathe a sigh of relief and smile when you remember somebody's comment that was ignorant and could have been very harmful. But because of the amount of internal work we're doing, instead my physiological response is to relief sigh and feel like smiling now, because like after a day of working it through and using it to practice internalizing a different core belief about how we have to respond to other people's behavior towards us, and using comments like this to rewire our brain's pathways in how we feel about how we respond, because the whole way we were raised would be to like feel really guilty in a lot of parts of us if we didn't try to be understanding no matter what, like as if we have to do that because it's what we were taught. And instead, how we're using those comments is to basically practice changing how we feel while we internalize the belief that we don't owe anyone shit if they're not going to be respectful towards us, and we don't have to feel guilty about however feels healthy for us to respond to them. Like in this case is just not reading their comments and deleting them, because people that are going to behave in that way don't deserve to have space. Not in our space. They can fuck off to their own space, do whatever they like there. It's nothing to do with me. But to actually genuinely be able to feel like we don't have to give them any time, they don't deserve any of our time or energy, and we can feel good about that decision in a way that is going to be using these comments sustainably to build that, so that while right now we're kind of fighting against the wiring we were raised with to generate that response until it's like something that we feel in an embodied and like nervous system level throughout all parts of us, without having intrusive thoughts and inner critic dialogues and shit about like what we should be doing or how we deserve to how they deserve to have us respond. Like, to stop those things from going off and have them replaced with just total knowledge that what we're doing is right and that what they're doing is objectively wrong, and that their distorted view of us is irrelevant to our life, and feel comfortable knowing that, and not have thoughts go off like, oh, what if that means we're becoming unreachable like other people, and be like, we know that's not the same, because we know what feels right, and we know ourselves, and we know who we are. And if somebody said something that could have some truth in it, my fox is screaming, that could have some truth in it, about like if it was something that we needed to be reached in, like actually if our behavior was problematic, we're already looking and doing the inner work and we're not avoidant of being uncomfortable. So defenses like denial and stuff would get picked up on, like they do. I just see it in the interactions we have with each other, with our amazing boyfriend, with our amazing friends. We catch it. And we can tell the difference between someone's words feeling like gaslighting because they have nothing to do with who we are and they're not accurate and they don't fit, and someone's words feeling uncomfortable because there's something about them that we are struggling to accept in ourselves. Like, we know how those things feel different. So I don't have to feel in any way bad about just immediately detaching from, letting go of, dismissing somebody's inaccurate viewpoint of us in a comment. So it's like, instead of just doing it, like, I didn't just delete the comment and go, their opinion's irrelevant, I'm not going to think about it. We're like, we're going to get to that, but we're going to do it in a very slow, sustainable way so that every run on the ladder feels genuinely like that to my core, so that that response is so internalized that it just naturally comes out very calmly. And that means that for the first, I don't know how many, but like at first, whenever we get a comment that is distorted, inaccurate, ignorant, bullying, like whatever, you know, the internet can be at its like most goblin-y fucking cretin-like moments, then it means like really looking at what happens within us without internalizing what they've said. So it's like, it's not about giving them any of the time of day or their words any meaning at all, because they don't deserve to have that impact. But it's about recognizing where we are impacted and acknowledging that it's because of, well, abusive assholes throughout our whole life, like branding in these deep wounds. And I found that like the first step is in parts of me accepting that those wounds are there. Because if I was going to just be like, this person doesn't deserve to have my time, their comment is irrelevant to my life, and I'm not going to look at it and I'm going to delete it, all of that's accurate, but it's like I've missed several steps. And instead of connecting on the deeper level of what's happening within me to be able to genuinely, authentically and sustainably change it in a long running way so that it actually builds me up over time to feel this more and more comfortably, it's like kind of rushing things. It feels like it's kind of dismissive because I've just jumped straight to the end result, but without like acknowledging the deeper emotional levels of what happens to different parts of me. So for me, the first part was acknowledging that I feel pain, I feel discomfort, and both are true at once. It's not like this random person has done this, they've just triggered a wound that was already there from abusive assholes. So like, it's about giving us and our past injuries and our past wounds the time to be healed, the time to be seen and acknowledged, and the parts of us that hold those things to be witnessed and held and supported, instead of the parts of me being so unwilling to be affected by abusive assholes in the past, or like random people commenting now that I'm like, it shouldn't affect me, therefore it doesn't. Instead, I can do something even better for us, and I can get to that very true end result, but I can do it in a way that actually heals the wounds instead of refusing to accept they're there. So first, by acknowledging and accepting that it's there, and that this has triggered it, but that doesn't give this person any power or any relevance in my life. I still like read over the comment, went, oh, that hurt, oh, I'm going to hold on to that pain for a second, delete the comment. Okay, now what was that pain? Like, where did that come from? What? Not by like re-triggering and reliving it by like going over what they said, but just literally by feeling the pain that is there, and then sort of bringing connection and space to the parts of me holding it and going, okay, I'm not ashamed by our response. We don't have anything to be ashamed by. Like, if somebody takes a piece of metal and fucking brands you with it, and then somebody else brushes out over it and it fucking hurts, you know, what shame is there on our side? There isn't any. The person who fucking branded us is a pathetic, disgusting, shameful mass of a creation, and the person who brushed against us is probably an inconsiderate, thoughtless, or self-absorbed asshole, but like, we don't have any fault there. So there's no shame. It's just you know, it's not okay that it happened. It's okay that it hurts. We're not doing anything wrong that it hurts. There's nothing we could be doing better. There's a kind of an impulse in some parts of me to feel like I should feel nothing from these people, from the assholes in the past, and like, that is what they deserve. That's what we'll get at some point, but I don't want to feel nothing because I've disconnected from what's there. I want us all to be able to feel such comfort and security in ourselves and each other that what was done to us and what people try to do to us now just can't fucking touch us. And we're worth the work it takes to do that. So it's okay that we feel pain. It's not our fault that we feel pain. There's nothing shameful about feeling pain when we were brutally fucking injured. Like, a while to kind of accept that in all parts of me and hold space for that pain, for the parts of me that feel it, and for the parts of me that hold it, to really feel safe, trusting the adult parts of me, especially in the part of me that identifies as a persecutor, because this is a very new dynamic, and this is very much not the dynamic that I've had with young parts and with other parts of me throughout our life. So I appreciate that it's going to take a little while for it to feel like, maybe like it's safe and like it's real when I say these things, and that's okay. My battery's a bit low, so let's do this so I don't worry about what I've recorded so far.